Other interesting business news, yeah, Nissan reportedly selling their headquarters, famously made by Carl Ghosn. This is brought to us thanks to Brian Hurd over at thedrive.com. And he says, quote, Nissan's selling the headquarters that Fawn built and proved no cost too sacred to cut. They say that, quote, nothing is off limits at Nissan as new management is reportedly mulling drastic measures to stay afloat, including selling these companies' headquarters built in Japan in 2009, which, I mean, it certainly is a headquarters. I'm by no means an architectural aficionado, but let's just say I don't think you're going to be missing much if you sell this. Because again, most likely they're just leased back from whoever they sell it to. Most likely, that's usually what happens when companies sell their headquarters. Sometimes they relocate, maybe they'll decrease their floor plan and be able to decrease some of that real estate cost. But yeah, just it kind of looks just like a generic office building. Though again, it has the Nissan logo plastered on the top floor. But yeah, a little bit disappointing. Definitely not as unique as BMWs or Porsches or, shoot, I'd argue any other major automotive manufacturers. Those are infinitely more unique, but I partially digress. Again, this is credited to Brian Hurd at thedrive.com. And he says, quote, 2 decades ago, Ford famously mortgaged virtually every asset at its disposal under the CEO, Alan Mullay's plan to overhaul its crippling finances. Was it a sign of failure or desperation? Certainly, it would be proven precedent. Not even 2 years later, Detroit rivals GM and Chrysler both went hat up at the federal government asking for bailouts. So they went hat in hand, going to bailouts. Just 3 years later, under now disgraced former CEO Carl Ghosn, Nissan was building the 22-story high rise in Yokohama and has been the company's home for more than 15 years. And now it might be for sale. Automotive News reports that, quote, this time around, it's not a member of America's Big Three, but Japan's, alongside Toyota and Honda. Nissan has spent decades as one of the highest value manufacturers on its side of the Pacific. Here you can see a slightly closer up picture of the Nissan logo. Again, it is pretty disappointing. It just looks like a regular office building, and yet they paid to have that built. Now they say, quote, Nissan's headquarters is a house that Fallon built. He announced the move 2 years before Ford's comprehensive restructuring reform. Like Mully, he was originally brought aboard to mount a corporate turnaround. Before he took the reins, Nissan was battling $20 billion in debt and was predominantly unprofitable Japanese lineup. Fallon's ascension began with Renault's initial buyback plan in 1999 when he was named COO. In 2001, that O transformed to an E. Fallon, who famously fled Japan in what amounted to be a giant roadie trunk, maintains to this day that Japan's prosecution, or as he would say, persecution, is motivated by a desire to cast blame to an outsider and the process prevent a French takeover of the belligerent automaker. What may seem as quite concerned Nissan's current financial desperation. History being cyclical, it seems oddly poetic that the new CEO, Ivan Espinosa, appears poised to divest the company of its very building it calls home in exchange for cash injection that could amount to more than $650 million, which is pretty penny to say the least. Or yen, as they would probably say, maybe. Now they say property sales alone won't erase Nissan's debt, but they would ease pressure, the company's staggering operation cost. Nissan lost $4.5 billion last quarter of its 2024 fiscal year alone, its second largest drop in the past 25 years. An audit of assets has been available for liquidation, put Nissan's headquarters building as a bean counter's radar, and certainly not alone. According to AN, the company is eyeballing 3 domestic factories for potential closure, and downsizing its Tokihai assembly plant has apparently not been ruled out. When asked for a comment on the report, Nissan America representative told the Drive that Nissan is, quote, considering all possibilities to recover its business performance, but there's no specific shares at this time, which, yeah, they're in pretty rough waters. Now, again, they do have, cash in the bank, so to say. It's not like they're down to zero, and they have some assets, but this is coming from the company that said in the past couple of years, we're going to close 10 of our 27 plants, which, yeah, that's not great. And most of the cars they make are debatably unreal. I don't think it's much of a debate. The CVT transmission destroyed most of the outcome of a brand reputation they had years ago. The Z seems like a fun car, but again, that's not massive volume units being sold. It'll be interesting to see if they actually sell this. I suspect they will. A lot of companies during the gets these kind of financial, difficult situations, they sell things they don't really need. And again, knowing Nissan, I would guess that they're going to sell this and then lease back a section of the building. As again, across most industries, we've seen a decrease in need for corporate real estate. I mean, most companies are slashing their square footage of usage by double digits. But again, we'll see this new CEO. Can they turn the company around? I mean, anecdotally, I think I know. I know one friend who's bought a Nissan in the past 6 years, and he just didn't want to pay the premium for, a big three or, Toyota or GM or Ford truck, and he wanted a truck with a V8, and Nissan had that. But yeah, let me know. Well, let me know in the comments. When's the last time you knew anyone who bought an actual Nissan, and why? I mean, shoot, if I won the lottery, I'd probably get a Nissan Z, throw that in the garage. Twin turbo stick shift and a coupe is a fun option to have, so that'd be a fun toy. But let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Again, trying to get to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.